Hello everyone and welcome to my next video. I'm sorry that I didn't upload a video last week. Unfortunately, I was moving house and the movers decided to pack my microphone in a box underneath all the other boxes in my office. So I couldn't record myself. So that's why I'm only recording this video now. But because I didn't get to record a video last week, what I've decided to do is that I'm going to consolidate the video I had planned last week with the video I planned this week and just do one slightly longer video, seeing as the two themes sort of relate to each other anyway. So the two topics that we're going to be covering in today's video are how to mirror a pose and also how to create a pose with a handheld / attached prop. And to demonstrate this, I've opened a pose that I have included in an upcoming set that I'm going to be releasing for the arcade. And this particular pose is for an item that's basically like one of those feather chaser toys for cats. Because I'm never going to stop shoehorning cats into my products. I'm obsessed with them. But anyway, so as you can see, it's just a simple arm holding pose. I haven't done anything with the rest of the avatar because for this specific pose, I only need the arm to animate because I want the avatar to be able to hold the item whilst walking around or running around or sitting or whatever. Which is also why I've set the priority quite high. I've set it to 5, which will override most AOs. So if I turn back on the bones and I switch back into pose mode, let me just drag this open. You'll see I only have the arm posed. And the way I've done this is I've deleted the keyframes of all the other bones. So you I, location, rotation, and then you can just drag, select a keyframe and press delete on your keyboard and it'll be gone. This also includes the origin because you don't want the origin to be animated anyway. And Avastar will actually give you a warning if your origin is animated. But if you don't want to delete the origin completely, you can just mute it with this little check mark here. Anyway, so what I'm going to be showing you first is how to mirror the pose. And then I'm going to jump into Firestorm and show you how I go about creating handheld or, I guess, attached poses. And I will also be leaving the resources that I use to do this in the description of the video so you can follow that link and grab those for yourself. So let me just close this. The way that I mirror poses is I select all by pressing A on my keyboard, and then I right click in the scene. So in this 3D area, you want to right click and select copy pose. And then if you want to mirror your pose to a separate keyframe, then move the keyframe locator here. Or else if you want to replace your keyframe, just right click and paste X flipped pose. And you'll see this turned red, which means export holding pose origin animated bad. And this is what I meant when I said that Avastar will tell you when your origin is animated. So to view the bones, just click on a bone and then press A to select all. And let me open this up again. You'll see all these other bones have also keyframed. And you can see in my particular scene which ones we don't want because I have a secondary keyframe which I duplicated, which is the ones I do want animated. But if you didn't, then you'd see the origin is always the first one that's listed, unless, I don't know, you've made some special setting in your Blender. But you'll know from where to delete the keyframes because origin will be the top. So I'm just going to drag, select, and then hover over the names to scroll down, and then shift drag to select again, shift drag select, shift drag select, and there we go, and then just press delete and they're gone. And now I'm going to, let me just move this out the way. I'm going to select this first row of, let me make this a bit bigger. There we go. I'm going to select this first row of keyframes, and I'm going to Shift D to duplicate them to my next keyframe. And then you'll see, if I make this a bit smaller and if I go back, the avatar's pose doesn't change. So now we've successfully mirrored the pose. And now you can just export it as you would normally. I would suggest writing M at the end of your exported pose, or mirrored or something like that, so that you can identify it in your files when you're navigating through them to import them to Second Life. But yes, in terms of mirroring, that covers it for that part of the tutorial. So now I'm going to jump into Firestorm, and I'll show you how I go about animating my avatar to hold attached props. Okay, so now that we're back in Firestorm, you can see that I'm playing my imported pose. This is the unmirrored one, but to import your mirrored one, you would just, as normal, go to Build, Upload, Animation, and you would navigate to the mirrored one, and then you would just import it and it would be flipped. But yes, as you can see, this is the item I want to have my avatar holding. And if I open up the contents, because I've prepared this already, you'll see that I have my script and I have my pose in the object. So this is how I get my attachable posed items to work. I will drop my script in, which I will be providing for you guys in the description. I will provide a link to it, and the pose. Now, I make sure that the properties of my script match the item. So because this is for a next up system vendor, it's set to transfer, and accordingly the pose is also set to transfer. But if this were in a regular vendor, I would just set them to copy. Do not set your scripts to modify, because then people can steal them and use them in their items. And if you're selling an item, you obviously, don't want people recycling your items. And the same goes for poses. I would set them to either copy only or transfer only. What happens when you take the item back to your inventory is that, for example, if you want the item to be modified but not the contents to be modified, then you'll have to go to properties and manually select modify as well, because by default it won't be selected. But anyway, so once you've taken it to your inventory, you'll want to attach it to the right part of your body where you want it to be sitting, basically. So let me unpose her. In my case, it's the left hand. So you go to right click, attach to, and then you hover over left hand and click, and it'll select it. And then you'll see the avatar will animate. And now I can delete this. And now you'll see I can walk around with my avatar, and because we set the permission to 5, the priority, you'll see that it isn't overridden by the animation override. And in accordance with that, if you sit your avatar down, it should also stay. Let's test. Yes. Okay. It works with sitting animations as well. So yes, and now if I detach the item with my script, your avatar should go back to a normal pose. Now, because I've been messing around with sitting animations and stuff like that, my avatar might go back to her default pose, in which case I will just... The way I fix it is I just rotate her around until she goes back to her AO. But that's because I use the Firestorm AO. I made my own. If you have a proper AO, you shouldn't have this problem. But yes, that's basically it for the tutorial. It's quite a short one this time. Next week I'll probably be doing a tutorial on how to use Avastar, which is what people use to set up poses in things like furniture items, and animations on things like beds, or I don't know, just miscellaneous objects that you can sit your avatar on. It can be a bit fiddly, so I will be doing a tutorial on that. And then after that, I might do some rigging tutorials. If you guys have any specific tutorials in terms of rigging that you would like to see, I can also take requests, you know. So just drop them in the comments below. But yes, for now, that'll do it from me. And I'll catch you guys next time. Bye!